All right, welcome back. We got our weekly stock market update, and today was a pretty wild day in the markets. We had our Jerome Powell speech at Jackson Hole. I like to say we had J Powell at J Hole. So it was a pretty boring speech, but he did have a change of tune when it comes to interest rates. It was definitely a dovish speech. He talked a lot about progress has been made on inflation. They see the risk is now more towards low unemployment or high unemployment versus high inflation. So that is creating the market to see that as a signal for rate cuts coming soon. And if you look at some of the prediction markets, we are now pricing in a 90% chance of a rate cut next month. So with that being said, markets adjusted accordingly. So you had the Nasdaq, the S&P, Dow Jones, crypto markets all ripping higher because lower interest rates is better for the stock market. And then you also saw the bond market adjust. So we'll look at some of those charts here in a moment. But other than that, it was just a very straight up green day for the market. Once he gave his speech, volatility collapsed and some big moves were made today. So let's take a look at the heat map. So we're looking at the heat map for the day for the stock market. So you had names like Google up 3%, Amazon 3%, Tesla up 6%, everywhere pretty green, 1 to 2% on the day. And when we look at the weekly change, actually still pretty red. So we kind of clawed back some of those gains, but still you can see technology is still red on the week. And when we look at the ETFs, you had the Nasdaq up 1.5%, S&P up 1.5% for the day, Bitcoin up 4%, gold up 1%, bond market up 0.5%. But when we look at the week, pretty flat, a little bit of red on the Nasdaq, down 1% on the week, Bitcoin down 1.5% on the week. And then when we look at crypto, some big moves here, a lot of green all over the board here. Bitcoin up 4%, Ethereum up 13% on the day, Solana up 10% on the day. And then when we look at the week, we are red on Bitcoin, altcoins are green for the week. So pretty interesting there, but definitely a big move. I think there was a lot of bearishness coming into the meeting and looked like a short squeeze, especially in the crypto market, or just people totally underexposed and not expecting Jerome Powell to be as dovish. So let's go ahead and take a look at some charts. Again, gold, straight green candle up, just explosive move here when Jerome Powell gave his speech and held those gains throughout the day. When we look at the Nasdaq, same thing. I think most charts are going to look like this on the daily. We had a drawdown here the last few days and just a nice pump here on the last day of the week here, this Friday. Dow Jones, I believe, hit an all-time high today. So congratulations to the Dow Jones. Bitcoin, same thing. In a downtrend, boom, spike up here at the end of the week. Russell 2000, big move today on the Russell 2000, almost a 4% move for the small caps. Small caps are highly sensitive to interest rates. And Ethereum, I believe, hit an all-time high today. Touched it. Hit the all-time high today at 48.86. Huge candle today, 14% so far. And then volatility, 14%. We have not seen 14% since December 2024. So we are at new relative lows for volatility. So that is interesting to see there. Dollar as well, collapsing. So dollar down, assets up. So weaker dollar on the potential of rate cuts. Let's take a look here at some interest rates. So the 10-year yield, big drop here as well. We're still just chopping along here. We have really not gone anywhere in a very, very long time. We're just chopping sideways. We're still just in this trend here for the 10-year yield. And let's go ahead and take a look at some names. Amazon, 228 here. Filling the gap from our earnings drop, but still just staying steady here. Nvidia, big week next week for Nvidia. They do have earnings, but we did have a pretty aggressive drop here this week down to 168, and we are already back up to 178. I have no reason not to expect NVIDIA to have great earnings next week. It's going to be their guidance that the market really cares about and what they have to say for their future roadmap and their future demand for their AI products. Tesla, nice move back up here. Tesla looks ready to roll. I hope so, but it looks ready to roll. So we will see how the next few weeks go for Tesla. Coinbase, nice little pop here. It's holding this $300 support really well. If crypto holds up here, I expect Coinbase to get back up into this box here of 380, maybe low 400s. Google, what a move for Google. This has just been such a steady move to the upside here for Google, and we are near all-time highs. We hit all-time high, or a 52-week high for Google today. So that is awesome to see. Let's take a look. Uber, nice move here, almost at $100 per share. Costco was the only name on my list that was red today. You did have the retailers report this week. Target and Walmart, they dropped after earnings. I'm going to listen to those earnings calls this weekend. Not sure exactly what the red flag was there for their earnings. I think they both slightly missed and probably gave some weak guidance. Apple, nice recovery here for Apple. Still waiting for some actual developments in their AI offerings, but we'll wait and see. Some of these cybersecurity names I'm very interested in. CrowdStrike is one that I may look to start a bigger position in. They do have earnings coming up next week as well with NVIDIA, so I'm interested to see what they have to say. Palo Alto Networks had earnings, but you're seeing these names have taken a small hit here the last few weeks, but these are some blue chip companies. CrowdStrike, if we zoom out here, to me this doesn't look like a bad place to maybe start a position here. Not financial advice, but just something that I'm looking at as these cybersecurity names to me are going to be hand in hand with the AI play. As everything moves to the internet, we need more security. Some other crazy names to look at. You have the BNMR, so this is the Ethereum Treasury company. Big candle today with, obviously, if Ethereum's up 13%, you expect this one to do well. Some of the healthcare names still struggling. Eli Lilly here had a big drop after earnings. Great company. Interested to see where this one goes. Same with Novo Nordisk. This stock is being hammered. This is an ugly chart. But little recovery here. But we've seen these gets hammered, little recovery, gets hammered again, little recovery. So we'll see when this thing finally bottoms out. But these are high quality companies. They did make this huge topping pattern here, so we'll just see when they bottom out. But these are quality companies. Let's take a look. Palantir, not a huge recovery here the last couple days. Decent bounce here. So we'll see if we can get back up to this all-time high or if we make another move lower. Let's take a look here. Any other names? Netflix, flat as well. So there are some names that are just kind of hanging out. Microsoft just hanging out here, not doing a whole lot. Meta up 2% on the day. UNH just kind of hanging out. But yeah, big day here. I mean, I think the big names are the crypto names. Those things are just going bananas. We already looked at Ethereum. We look at Solana. Solana looks ready to roll. Bitcoin, nice recovery here. We'll see if we can reclaim this 120 level. To me, that'd be a green flag, because we could see these gains go away. We could see them have some follow through. But very strong day for the market. It's a good day to go look at your portfolio. Now, as far as next week, I mentioned we've got a couple key earnings with NVIDIA. That's the big one. Also next week, we do have GDP numbers, unemployment claim, and PCE numbers. So there is a little bit of data, but I think the big news everyone's waiting for is that NVIDIA earnings call. But a very strong week, end of the week for the markets, but overall pretty flat. But it was a entertaining week nonetheless. And as far as Jerome Powell and interest rates, we'll have to wait and see when they have their meeting next week. But it definitely seems like they are going to be adjusting their stance to start the rate cutting cycle. So that is the update for the week. Everyone have a great weekend, and we will talk next week for NVIDIA earnings. All right, peace out.